Hello everybody. So this is the requested tutorial on the Munsell color wheel. So here is the project once again. This is how I want it to look with the title bar below, oriented in a circle, not an oval. And remember that I wanted you to use your color wheel kind of as your sort of baseline for the colors. As I said, you're going to have your red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and violet or purple pre-mixed in the tube already. So those can be diluted down with water and placed onto the chips directly. What you're going to be creating is the tertiary colors, which will be the red orange, the yellow orange, the green yellow, the blue green, the blue violet, and the red violet. And you're going to do that by mixing the colors together. So even though this is printed, it still serves as a good baseline. As you can see, this student, tried to sort of keep in tune with those colors. Some of them were easier to do than others. So that's why you've got this. Also, when you put this together, think of it as a clock, a 12-hour clock, and we've got the red at the 12-hour position. So align all of the other colors as you would the face of a clock. So red orange is at 1 o'clock, orange is at 2 o'clock, yellow orange is at 3 o'clock, and so on. But red goes at the top. Because we're doing tints and shades, you're going to be mixing white and black with the colors. So I want the tint on the left and the shade on the right for every color as you go around the wheel. So let's talk about how we set this up. So as we did last week, you're going to have a taped down piece of paper on a board or a cutting mat, and you're going to do 12 squares, all of them in 2.5 inch by 2 inch. And those squares are going to get your primary, tertiary, and secondary colors. So here I've already painted on a green, a yellow, and the mix of the two. So we've got, let's say, our primary, our secondary, and then the tertiary from mixing them together. These are not colors from the tube. I can't find my watercolors. This is house paint. So don't think you're going to be able to find these colors in your tubes because they don't exist. So we've got our two colors from the tube, let's say, and then mixed together to form that blend of the colors. I have taken my template, I've cut out the two trapezoids, and I've laid the largest one over it, tracing it, using it as a stencil so that I know where to cut my chip out to form this chip. So again, that is a grid of 2.5 inch by 2 inch squares. You need 12 of these at least. You're going to be taking your colors from the tubes, mixing them together to get the tertiaries. So that's that part of it. Next, we work on our tints and shades. So this is going to be a grid of 1.5 inch by 1 inch rectangles, which we will then take our template and lay over to trace out the shape. So I'll do that now because the paint's going to be too wet to do it if I do it later. But wait for the paint to dry before you trace out your shapes. So there's our shape. It's a little wonky because I did it with one hand, but there's that. Now we come over to our paint palette. So remember I said you'll want to mix your colors in your salsa cups to keep them active. I don't have any salsa cups. I'm just keeping them active in the wells of the palette. So here's all three of my colors. I've got my green, my yellow, and my mix. So what we're going to do is add white and black to these colors. So I'm going to use the yellow just because I feel like it. So I'm going to dole out some yellow, and you would be doing this in a new container. I'm just doing it in the middle of the palette. So I'm going to dole out my yellow because remember, you want to have enough of this mixed up to split it, each color to split it in two, so you can mix black into it and white into it. So I've got my yellow on the palette. And now remember we add dark to light. So I'm going to add a little bit of the black into the yellow. And when you add the black to the color or the color to the white, it is not going to be a 50-50 ratio. what you want to do is you want to get enough color on there to make a difference when it goes down on the paper. So this is the color I'm coming up with, kind of like a yellow toned gray. And so I will just put that on my chip. Because I've drawn a grid, it doesn't matter that I'm going out of the lines. And, you know, go back over it, smooth it out so it's a nice smooth shape. There's nice smooth finish. And so there is my shaded yellow. Now again, the color is going to be more intense for you because you're using very saturated colors. These are just colors I had laying around. So now we're going to add white, or rather we're going to add yellow to the white. So what I'm going to do is take some of this untouched yellow, put it in the little palette right here. And again, I'm doing this with one hand. Sorry if it's not the steadiest thing in the world. So I've got my yellow, and then I'm going to add some white to it. So here's my white, and then let's see what happens. Also, I just realized I spoke out of turn. You should be adding the yellow to the white, not the white to the yellow, but it still got us a good result. So we're going to put that down. And as I said, it's not a 50-50 mix. It's just what you need to get a result. So this is a very, very faint yellow color, and that's that. So, you know, I messed up on what I said, always add dark to the light. So we should have added yellow to the white, but we still got our result. So we'll wait for this to dry. Then we'll take our template, lay it over, and trace out that smaller size. When everything's dry and all the template stencils have been used, you'll come in with your X-Acto knife and your metal ruler, and you'll cut out your chips. Again, I've got the one with the finger guard so that you're nice and protected. And once all of your chips are cut out, you will then lay them onto your Munsell color wheel. And as with the Value Brilliance scale, you can use glue stick on this. If you wanted to, you probably could even use like maybe some low tack tape if you want to be able to reposition it. But we want to try to get it in a nice circle. So you could, if you wanted to, use your compass and draw a circle in the middle just to get everything aligned. But this is what we are going for. So red in the 12 o'clock position, the tints on the left, the shades on the right, going in a clockwise form, and with a title block down below. So as far as color mixing goes and loosening up your paint, just refer to last week's video. But you can see with my paints here, at least the black and the white, we've got a nice bit of sort of looseness to it so that we can actually pick it up, use it to dilute the paint, and we're not worrying too much about it being too thick. So that is what we are looking at for this next project. I think that the assembly of it is probably going to be the bigger challenge, just because you want it to be circular. Mixing colors, painting it down, I don't think that's going to be a problem. But anyway, that is the next assignment. So be sure you print this template out at 100% scale so you get the right size of those stencils. If you want to, print it on a heavier piece of paper, just so the stencil doesn't wear down over time. But yeah, so that's that. As always, if you have questions, send me an email and I'll try to respond to you as soon as possible. And that is the assignment for this week. So 12 of these, 24 of those. Yeah, so 24 of these guys, 12 of those guys. But lots of paint active at this point. So be sure to make enough paint that you can add it to other colors and add it to black and white, and you don't have to remix anything new. So until we see each other again, that's all I have to say. Have a good break between classes.